Another October evening and another scary movie for our spooky season marathon. Jumping in with a director that's an absolute genre icon this evening. Can't wait to delve into further movies from him in this season. However, let's get into that. First time review for this particular label as well, which I really, really rate this label. I don't have many of their discs in my collection. However, it's one that I am looking to expand upon. I don't know many of the movies that they tend to release, but they are a bit more of a boutique label, kind of in the same essence that Arrow Video used to be, as kind of what this label's become. One in particular, which always stresses me out when I think about how close I was to owning it but never quite picking up, was the William Castle Volume 1 box set with 13 Ghosts, which, like I said, I can't talk about it because it will stress me the fuck out. So, talking about Indicator, wonderful little label, very curated collection, a bit like Criterion. They haven't got reams and reams of bonus content. However, what they have is very concise and informative, and I really, really appreciate that. So yeah, as I said, a horror icon directs tonight's movie, released in 1998. The director will have a film that I will show on Halloween night, and it possibly is the film that everyone goes to on Halloween night and probably will always go to on Halloween night. Directed by John Carpenter, starring Daniel Baldwin, James Woods, Thomas Ian Griffith and Cheryl Lee. I'm of course talking about John Carpenter's Vampires. Love this poster. Now, before I show you the rest of this package, in fact, I want to show you a really cool detail on this release and most of their other kind of single releases as well. Check this out. So you've got your artwork here, the actual poster, Indicator label. However, so fresh and so clean. Yeah, not much of a change, obviously. However, doing away with this label, it's an amazing difference that makes. It just looks crisp and it just gives you the full artwork. Looks really nice on the shelf like this as well. But let me show you the back. So it just gives you the release date. That's another thing I like here is the detail, the release date, the runtime, things like that. And also, don't know if you can see, with these special features, it gives you the runtime of each feature as well there, which is a really cool little detail which I appreciate. There's your spine. Now, if I open this up, this is a dual format edition, limited to 7,000 copies in the UK. And you've got your Blu-ray here and your DVD copy here. I believe it's the UK. It is the UK Blu-ray premiere as well, so it's the first release of Vampires on Blu-ray in the UK. Yeah, the film itself, I actually really like it. I first saw it back in probably about 99, the year after it came out at the cinema. I wasn't old enough, I don't think, to see it at the cinema. Well, I definitely wasn't. So I had to wait until it came out on VHS. My mum kindly rented it for me, and I really liked the idea of it. It was very much a John Wayne Western with vampires. It was a really cool idea. Wasn't much of a fan of the soundtrack, but you know, it's a small price to pay. I really like the idea of Valak kind of hunting this cross, which would allow vampires to walk in daylight. Obviously not an unheard of thing, because Blade came out around about the same time, I believe, which had a very similar kind of story to that. So yeah, I think Thomas Ian Griffith as Valak as well is incredible. He's got this really interesting look about him, and I just love the aesthetic, the design, the costumes of the vampires. James Woods doesn't really suit the main character for me. Daniel Baldwin I really rate, and Cheryl Lee does a good job. I'd say, yeah, James Woods is fun, but it's not really. There's probably other people who could have done maybe a better job and suited that character. However, you know, it is the film we've got, and I do still enjoy it. What can we say? So yeah, here's a nice little booklet you get in the release as well. You've got the cast and crew credits here. You've got an essay. It's about 20 pages. You've got an essay in there, and then you've got about halfway through a nice little interview with John Carpenter himself. Just a few little Q&As there. So yeah, nice little package. In terms of special features, again, as I said, it's quite curated. You've got a commentary track, which is quite interesting. John Carpenter's commentary tracks are always, I always enjoy them. You've got a little bundle of behind the scenes content. So that comes with B-roll footage, a behind the scenes featurette, and interviews with the cast and crew. Daniel Baldwin, James Woods, Cheryl Lee, John Carpenter. What I would say, which is a little bit frustrating, The behind the scenes featurette and the interviews feature the same 4 minutes of footage interspliced between the different interviews. They kind of change the order of it, but it's just the same footage, and it's very repetitive by the time you get through to the last interview. I just wish they'd kind of strip all that out and had it more direct and more just to the point, more streamlined. But you know, it's a small gripe to have with a great package. The standout on this release, though, for me, is the 38-minute discussion with John Carpenter, hosted by The Guardian. It talks about his early career. It is part 1 of part 2. That you have to watch part 2 on the Ghost of Mars release, which is also on Indicator. I'll just stream it on YouTube if I'm honest. But yeah, it kind of talks about his early career, you know, the Eyes of Laura Mars, Halloween, Assault on Precinct 13, that kind of thing, and what kind of got him into filmmaking in the first place. So yeah, really cool little package here. Looks great. Now, I'm not reviewing this, but I just want to show it side by side because it's another kind of companion piece that I enjoy. Not a Halloween movie in my opinion, but Wolf as well from Indicator. Again, just absolutely gorgeously put together. This one's limited edition, 3,000 copies. Again, nice little bundle of special features there. But I just kind of wanted to show how they kind of look side by side. I think they look great. And again, if you've got them on your shelf on display at any point, they look really, really nice. So yeah, that's night 14, John Carpenter's Vampires. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed revisiting it. And if you haven't seen it, give it a go. Let me know what you make of it. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you here tomorrow for the next movie.